She wasn't a preacher. She wasn't pure, which honestly, who cares if she wasn't pure? Because none of us are pure. But she wasn't even part of God's people. But Rahab believed him, and everything changed because of that. I need to tell you what happened to me yesterday. So I'm a teacher, right? And I teach high school. I'm trained to teach high school. I'm actually not fully trained. I'm going to finish my degree at the end of this year. No, next year, halfway, because I'm going to take it slow. But here in New South Wales, we have the opportunity to teach while we're finishing our degree. Like, as long as you continue on studying, you can teach in schools. And yesterday, I went to a school, which name shall never be known. It's a public school. And if you hear that I'm a little bit upset, it's because I kind of am. And I do apologize about my voice. This is like, I'm so sorry. I thought I was getting better, but I think I'm not. I think after this video, I'm just going to rest my voice and we'll see how things go. I really hate getting sick because I can't work. Like, I can't go to work. I can't film my videos. I can't have fun. Anyhow, let me tell you this story that happened yesterday. So I went to school to teach and I had a year 12 class. And one of the students, I say to him, "Can you please put your earbuds away?" And then he says to me, "No, I'm not gonna do it. I don't need to do it." What, like, and he starts having this horrible attitude and being so disrespectful. And I was like, "You need to put it away because that's the rules." And he says, "But why? You don't even know that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And then he says to me, "Our teacher lets us." And I say, "I'm not her." And I'm like, "Put it away." And he says, "But I can always do it." And then I got a little nervous because he raised his voice at me and I stuttered a little bit. And he said, what? Like, he was so disrespectful. And I was like, "Put it away or I'll have to write you a note." And he said, "So what?" And like, it was this back and forth. And I was like, "Look, I don't know you, you don't know me, but I'm just trying to do my job here." And he's like, "You don't even know like what we do at this school." And I said, "Look, I'll have to tell your teacher and she'll probably tell your head teacher and then you'll have to have a chat with them or they'll call your parents." And he gets even more upset and he tells me, "Go tell them then. Tell them now. They are next door." And he said, "You probably don't even know that." And I'm like, "All right," like, I just stopped. Like, he wanted to have the last word and I said, "You don't get to talk to me like that. That's very disrespectful. I'm making a note. I let you know." And that's it. And throughout the whole class, I had a 2-hour class with them of chemistry. It was just so uncomfortable because they were like making comments about me, like all of them, him and his 2 friends who they arrived 15 minutes left to class and they were upset because I marked them late. And and they were just very upset and making comments and they were like, "Where are you from?" But like, and the girl was like, oh, making this face. And it really, like, I think I'm still learning to not let it affect me. Like, I want to be able to see it as, "Oh, poor kids, like they must be having a rough day," or like, "Oh, these kids like foolish," and stuff like that. But it did affect me because I felt like they were so mean and pretty rude. And then they start eating in class, like not eating an apple or fruit, full on getting their lunch out. And I said, "You need to put the food away." And he didn't even care to hide it. And I was like, one thing is being disrespectful in private, and the other one is not caring that everybody can see you. And then he's like, "One more bite," and starts laughing, and everybody, like the 3 of them, start laughing, and he eats one more bite, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I have to write you a note." And he's like, and they were all like, "You don't even know what you're doing. Our teacher lets us be on our phone. Our teacher lets us be on our, like, use our AirPods. She lets us eat. Like, what do you care?" And I'm like, these kids, I know they're lying to me. I just wish that they were more mature. It was just so embarrassing, like so embarrassing in the sense of secondhand embarrassment. I was upset that I had to spend 2 hours with these kids being awful to me. I left a note so the teacher knows, but I'm telling you this because I needed to tell a friend. And I told my husband, I told my sister, sorry, I had something on my teeth, but I told my husband, I told my sister, and now I'm telling you, so that you know that the life of a teacher is hard, especially the life of a casual, because they think that you are an idiot and they treat you as such, which is absolutely wrong. But it is what I did. It is what it is. If you've had a rough time during the week, tell me. I would love to read it. And I'm an empath, so I will empathize with you. Trust me, I will. But anyhow, all of that is so that we feel closer to each other, and I just like sharing things with you guys. So welcome back to day 3 of our special series, Real Talk, Real God, Women, the Bible story series, that the stories of the women that you have never maybe heard about or never been told in Sunday school. I also wanted to say that story, like the one that I just told you about, because if you hear me a little bit upset, it's because I just told the story, like I'm upset, but I'm not upset at you. But anyhow, so far we have talked about Shifra and Pua, who were the quiet rebels. If you haven't seen the video, go watch it. We've talked about Hokabet, the hidden warrior mother. I love calling her hidden warrior. And today we're going to be looking at someone whose entire identity on the outside should have disqualified her. But God doesn't see like man sees things. And God never disqualified her. Probably you and I would have looked at her and been like, oh yeah, like whatever. But God didn't. And this is Rahab's story that proves that your past doesn't cancel your purpose. Your past sometimes doesn't even matter in the sense of there's nothing that God won't forgive you for. So this is the story of Rahab. We're going to look at Joshua 2 and Joshua 6 and also Matthew 1. So I want to start breaking it down. First, let's talk about Joshua 2. In Joshua 2, 2 Israelite spies sneak into Jericho to scout the land. Rahab is a prostitute, right? Not Rahab the queen, not Rahab the warrior or the prophet, Rahab the prostitute. She hides them on her roof, lies to the king's men, and helps them escape. Then she tells the spies, I know the Lord has given you this land, for the Lord your God is God in heaven, above and on the earth below. And that's in Joshua 2:11. Imagine how, like, the fact that she recognized God so clearly and in such a respectful way, like, I'm just so amazed because she wasn't even an Israelite. In return, they promised to spare her and her family when the city is destroyed. Because remember, the city was going to be destroyed. So when Jericho falls in Joshua 6, Rahab and everyone in her house is saved. And you know what's so wild to me? That Matthew 1st includes Rahab in the genealogy of Jesus. And yes, Rahab, the same prostitute from Jericho, becomes part of the lineage of the Messiah. Not Rahab the queen, not Rahab the prophet, not Rahab like the warrior. Rahab the prostitute is in Matthew 1st as part of the lineage of Jesus. So I want to share with you a couple parallels that I found while I was reading this story that I think that I know that they will speak to you because they also speak to me. And again, I always want to be real with you guys, so that's what we're going to do. If Rahab lived today, she would probably have been judged, looked down upon. Maybe some people, especially maybe some people will like cancel me for this, or they will like burn me or in the comments for it. But I have noticed from my experience and perspective that the oldest people in the church, like the more traditionalist or the more traditional or the people that are so used to their ways, are the ones that judge the most. Like for the way you dress, the music you hear, they are the most strict on other people. And that's fine if you have those standards for yourself, but they make it a point in putting it on other people. And I'm not saying that that makes them bad Christians. I'm just saying that's what I've noticed. And it's something so interesting to me because why do you need to impose your own personal standards that you have because of your own conscience on other people? Like, why do you not think that maybe other people have different consciences and, you know, God speaks to us in different ways? I'm not trying to justify disobedience at all. I just mean those gray areas where people can be more strict or more loose, and some of them choose to be stricter and put those standards on others. I think that Rahab would have been judged. Absolutely. Maybe some people wouldn't want her to join their social circles, and she would have been overlooked by most churches. But guess what? God used this very woman that would have been judged, canceled, looked down upon. And he used her because she feared him more than she feared her past. And maybe you've been Rahab. I know I have been 100%. And you know what? Maybe just like me, you have made choices that you regret. Maybe you don't come from a Christian family, or maybe you have been labeled by your past. Maybe people know you because you did this one horrible big thing and you've been disqualified from spiritual legacy. Maybe you don't fit in Christian circles because, you know, they see you as someone that you aren't anymore. But Rahab teaches us this. Faith isn't about who you've been. It's about who you trust now. It's not about the bad things that you've done in your past or where you come from and what you've done. It's about who you are now and the decisions that you make now. So your history doesn't disqualify you from God's story. You know what? Your history is something so precious and so beautiful. It's your testimony. It's literally your life. Nobody should come and be like, oh yeah, because you did this, because you come from here. And nobody should judge you because of it. Nobody should look down on you because of that. Nobody should try to exclude you because of that. That's absolutely wrong. And I don't think that's Christian. Faith rewrites everything. Even your bloodline, even your most horrendous sins. So as always, I want to share with you data from our generation. And I get my research from Barna 2022. So you can look it up if you don't believe me, but it's going to be there. So feel free to look it up. But this is what I found. 57% of Christian young adults say that they've struggled with believing they can be used by God because of past mistakes. And you know what? Most likely they are saying this because that's what people made them believe. Like, that's what people said to them, like, oh, maybe you can't be in charge of this ministry because of your past, because you did this, this, and that. And they choose the perfect pastor's child or whatever. Like, it happens so often, guys. Like, let's not pretend that it doesn't happen, or let's not be blind to these truths. Like, it happens because we're all human and we're biased and we're sinful. And you know what? The only way to change is to first recognize it. Like, we need to stop judging other people as Christians. And when I say judging other people, I mean, like, I'm not saying you can't tell them that abortion is wrong. You can't tell them that there's only men and women and that's what marriage is. You can't, like, I'm not saying you can't say this. What I'm saying is you can't judge others because God is the only one who can judge. I can't and you can't. And if there's someone in your church that's been sidelined or that nobody wants to hang out with them because they are a little bit different or because they come from the hood or whatever, make it a point in getting close to them and getting to know them. And maybe you'll realize that you've been a fool all along and that they are a wonderful Christian who are trying to learn and grow. And they just need someone to go along with them in that path that they're taking, which is growing in Christ. There's more research from Lifeway in 2023 that says that 1 in 3 women in the church say that they feel permanently disqualified from leadership or spiritual legacy due to their past sexual history. And that's so sad, guys. Like, it's just so sad how so many people feel like they can't serve in these beautiful ministries and they can't take these opportunities because of their past, because maybe their parents were divorced, or because maybe or because they had sexual relationships with friends when they were younger. Like, guys, we all make mistakes and we all make different kinds of mistakes. And I absolutely despise it when people put labels on other people and they just allow perfect so-and-so, what they consider perfect Christians, part of ministries. That's so wrong. Guys, there's even more research from Pew Research that found that many Gen Z believers see church as a place of shame and no restoration. And you know what? I have seen church like that. Like, I have seen it like that. I'm not going to say which church because I've been part of many churches throughout my life, but I felt that way. I felt like I come in and I'm judged because people know things about me. And, you know, we could be wrong. Maybe I was just feeling my own shame, whatever. But sometimes you're not just feeling your own shame. Sometimes people are actually judging you and you can see it in their faces, in their looks, in that you're around and they like turn and they don't talk to you. They don't invite you to this anymore. Like, sometimes you feel like, and you know what? Let's not pretend that that doesn't happen. We're all sinful humans and we all make mistakes. So I actually know for sure that that's not what Jesus intended. And that's not what Rahab's story tells us. You can be used. You can be restored. And you can be chosen, even if the world never claps for you, or even if the world never chooses you. Even if your church never chooses you, God still does. He chose you. So, guys, I wanted to ask you, do you have any personal stories where, you know, if there's any chance that you would want to share a time when you felt unworthy, but God used you anyway, or any story of someone in your life who got radically redeemed when others judged them? I can think of one person. I'm not going to say the name because I can't, because I always wonder if people from my church actually see this. So, and this person that I'm thinking of is in my current circle now. And I think that they have been radically changed through judgment. And again, I can't say the name, but it's just so wonderful how God can change you even when everybody else around you is like, doesn't see it the way God sees it. So I wanted to give you a quick recap, of course, as always. And we'll start with Joshua 2:11 that says, "The Lord your God is God in heaven above and on the earth below." And this is an important verse because God is God not only there, like he's not just like out there, like, in heaven, in his pool, enjoying his vacation. He is a present God. He is here just as he's there. And he knows what's going on in your life. He knows when you're judged. He knows when people look down on you. He knows when people exclude you. He knows that pain because he's felt it. He's seen it and he's experienced it. He died on the cross to forgive those people that treated you that way and to forgive you if you have been the one doing the wrongs to others. So he knows it. He's such a personal, unique, so relational, such a relational God. Hebrews 11:31 says, "By faith, Rahab was not destroyed with the disobedient." I think that, guys, literally one choice can be the difference between life and death. And that's the choice of, just like Rahab made her choice of obeying God, and she didn't die and her family didn't die, we can also make the choice to follow God and not die. And you just need to give your life to him and follow him and obey his law and believe that he is God and that he's good and that he came to save you through Jesus Christ and that then he died on the cross and resurrected on the third day. And that's your choice. But of course, God chose you first. But we all have free will, so it's also your choice. And that's like, sorry, I was going to talk about God choosing you first or then you choosing God, because you know that there's a debate on that. You probably know about the debate. I forget what it's called. Is it the free will or it's the predestination? I was like thinking about it. It's the predestination debate. But anyhow, the next verse is James 2:25, which says that Rahab was considered righteous for what she did when she gave lodging to the spies. Matthew 1:5 says Rahab is listed in the genealogy of Jesus. And that's so amazing, guys. Like, she became part of the family of Christ. Not only his eternal family, but also like in the bloodline. Like, it's just so crazy. So I just wanted to give you a quick takeaways before we finish the video. The first one is that God can use anyone. Yes, anyone, absolutely anybody. You. And you know what? This makes me think of the movie Ratatouille. Like when they say Gustav, the chef that is a little bit big and he's a ghost and he says, everybody can cook. And then like it's the rats cooking. Like, it's just so funny to me. But there's no sin too dark for God's light. And don't doubt of it. Don't doubt it. That's the truth, guys. The second takeaway that I want you to take with you is that faith moves before the outcome is guaranteed. Rahab hid the spies before she had a promise. Like, she was never conditioned. God never said, if you do this, I will give you this. She didn't know of that. She didn't know any of that. And it's so beautiful that she believed and obeyed even before she knew about the reward. Now we know the reward, which is eternal life if we believe in God. But would we believe if we didn't know the reward? Would we believe if we didn't know what the reward was or what the consequences were? The takeaway number 3 is that God is not ashamed to link his name to your past. You know how sometimes like people don't want to hang out with you or like people don't want to get like involved with you because it gives you a bad image? God doesn't care. He doesn't care. He included Rahab. He included Rahab's name in the lineage of the King of Kings. Does he care about appearances? No. He couldn't care any less. He included her, a prostitute that wasn't even an Israelite. Like, it's just so crazy. I'm so amazed. Like, I love God. Like, God, amazing. You are so great. I just wish we were all like that we didn't care. Because we shouldn't, guys. Like, who cares what people think? Like, to a certain extent, I'm not saying like, oh, like your testimony is not important. You know what I mean? Number 4 is that one act of courage can change your family tree. Your yes can cover generations, just like Rahab's did. So that was all for today's video. As always, guys, I wanted to ask you, have you ever felt like Rahab, maybe labeled, maybe written off, used? Or maybe you are in a moment where God is asking you to take a bold step of faith that no one else sees. So let's talk. Drop your thoughts. I would absolutely love it if you would write your story here in the comments down below, because you're not disqualified. You're called. And don't forget to follow me, subscribe, like, send this video to someone that would absolutely love it or that would need to hear it. Maybe you've been disqualified by religion, by your church, by your past, by people, but God looks at your faith and faith moves him. Rahab went from the red light district to the bloodline of Christ because she believed, because she belonged. Before she knew everything, she believed. She didn't need any conditions. And you don't need any either. You can also believe. Thank you so much for joining me in day 3 of this special series. Tomorrow, we're diving into a woman who broke all rules on purpose and got her miracle anyway. So until then, stay bold, stay grounded, believe big, and remember, your faith can flip your future.